There's a war most never see. A silent conflict fought in glances, tones, and words left unspoken. You've felt it, haven't you? That tightening in your chest when truth is twisted into confusion. The draining exhaustion when your compassion is turned into chains. This is no accident. It's ancient, archetypal. In Jungian terms, the narcissist and the empath aren't just people. They're forces, patterns moving through the collective psyche. The narcissist is the shadow magus, a master of projection, control, and illusion. They wield mirrors that reflect only what serves them, drawing power from the darkness we fear to face. They don't just lie to others, they lie to themselves, and in doing so, they make others believe the lie. But the true empath is something rarer, a seer of souls, sensing tremors beneath facades. Where others see charm, the empath feels corrosion. Where others hear compliments, the empath hears chains. Yet seeing through the mask isn't liberation, it's burden. Because once you see, you cannot unsee. Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. This is the mirror, the great psychic test. But here's the wound. The narcissist cannot bear reflection. They cannot face the abyss within. So they project it outward, into you. They cast illusions where you become the villain, the unstable one, the too much, the too sensitive. Their survival depends on your confusion, pain. You know it well, the slow erosion of your truth under their manipulations, the way your empathy becomes a weapon turned against you. You give, they take. You explain, they distort. You love, they drain. Fear, the fear that maybe they're right. Maybe you are too emotional, too fragile, too dramatic. You begin to doubt your instincts, question your worth, silence your intuition. That's how the shadow wins, by making you mistrust the light within. Isolation. Narcissists isolate not only with words but with energy. They make you believe no one else sees what you see, that your sensitivity is a curse. You start walking on glass, tiptoeing through conversations, shrinking your truth so theirs can dominate. But in the ruins comes revelation. The empath begins to awaken. You start noticing patterns. The flattery that precedes control, the charm that hides the wound, the rage that bursts when truth is near. You realize you're not weak, you're tuned. You sense frequencies others ignore. You see through illusions others worship. This is your hope. You were never meant to fight their way. You were meant to transform. Jung taught that individuation, true awakening, comes when we integrate the shadow, not flee it. You don't need to destroy the narcissist. You need to see through them, clearly, coldly, compassionately, and refuse the role they assign. But urgency burns here. Not all empaths awaken in time. Many are devoured by guilt, trapped in cycles of giving to the ungrateful. You must learn the deeper language, the one Jung hinted at but never fully named. Because not all empaths are equal. Jung observed 5 rare patterns of perception, 5 empathic archetypes forged in shadow and light. Each holds a deadly strength and a hidden danger. Some disarm the narcissist with silence. Some mirror the shadow back so sharply it shatters. Others transmute pain into insight so potent it frees not just themselves, but all who witness it. But power demands consciousness. Without it, your gift becomes your cage. Your empathy, unchecked, can turn to martyrdom. Your insight, unanchored, can breed arrogance. The key is not to feel for everyone, but to see through everything. And that is where identity transformation begins. You are not the wounded caretaker. You are the shadow alchemist, the one who turns manipulation into mastery, illusion into clarity. This war is not fought with anger, but awareness. Not with revenge, but revelation. You are here to evolve, not destroy. To step into the ancient role Jung foresaw, the empath who sees the unseen and refuses to be consumed. because once you know who you are, the narcissist's control dissolves. Next, you'll meet the 5 deadliest empath types and discover which one sleeps within you. There are empaths who feel, and then there are empaths who know. These 5 are not ordinary. They are the rare archetypes Jung hinted at when he spoke of the psyche's deepest strata. Each carries a gift forged in shadow, a perception sharpened by pain. Narcissists cannot control them, but each gift comes with a cost: psychological isolation. To see this deeply is to walk alone through truths others fear. Let the unveiling begin. 1. The shadow mirror. The unfogged glass. They are the mirror that cannot be clouded. The moment a narcissist enters the room, this empath feels the fracture, the tremor between the mask and the truth beneath. They see lies as they form, contradictions hidden behind the smile. The narcissist feels power slipping, because the shadow mirror reflects everything: the manipulation, the hypocrisy, the buried shame. With one calm gaze, they dismantle the illusion. The narcissist cannot tolerate this reflection. It strips them bare. Control collapses. Rage erupts. But here lies the curse. When truth pierces denial, those still asleep turn on the one who speaks it. The shadow mirror becomes scapegoat, accused of cruelty, arrogance, or madness, punished for clarity, banished for honesty. Their gift isolates them. Yet in solitude, they hold the purest sight, the power to reveal the shadow's shape. 2. The pattern seer, the one who maps the maze. This one doesn't just see moments, they see timelines. The pattern seer maps manipulation like a chessboard. They recognize the narcissist's strategies before they unfold. The intoxicating flattery of love bombing, the subtle erosion of devaluation, the cold discard that follows. The narcissist's usual control, built on surprise and confusion, fails. Their script becomes predictable. Their spells lose potency. The pattern seer becomes an unplayable opponent. But awareness cuts both ways. The seer's mind is always scanning, decoding, anticipating. Even in peace, they wait for patterns of betrayal. Their vigilance becomes armor and prison. They lose rest, they lose ease. They live in constant hyper-alertness, robbed of the simple pleasure of trust. Their path to freedom lies not in closing their eyes, but in grounding their vision, learning when to observe and when to release. Otherwise, their foresight becomes the very trap they escaped. 3. The emotional absorber, the heart that hears the unspoken. This empath feels not just the words, but the wounds beneath them. When a narcissist boasts, the absorber tastes the bitterness of buried shame. When the narcissist rages, they feel the child within, terrified, unseen, unloved. Their heart becomes a tuning fork for unspoken pain. The narcissist cannot stand before this empath, because arrogance melts in the presence of someone who feels the truth beneath the armor. Their false self destabilizes. They lose control, unsure how their performance keeps collapsing. But the absorber pays a heavy toll. They carry emotions that are not their own: anger, despair, self-loathing. They confuse the narcissist's shame for their own, drowning in psychic toxins. Over time, their identity blurs. They ask, are these my feelings or theirs? To survive, they must learn psychic boundaries, rituals of cleansing, solitude, and grounding. Without them, they become an emotional sponge soaked in poison. With mastery, they hold the power to dissolve illusions through pure empathy. 4. The somatic oracle, the body that knows. This empath's body is the instrument of truth. They feel lies as tension, deceit as pressure, manipulation as nausea. Long before a narcissist explodes, the oracle's body trembles with warning. Muscles knot when danger nears. Breath tightens when shadow energy rises. To the narcissist, this is terrifying. No deception can hide when the body speaks. The oracle doesn't need evidence. Their physiology reveals what the narcissist denies. Control shatters under the weight of embodied truth, but such wisdom bears a brutal cost. The body, overwhelmed by others' psychic storms, begins to break. Chronic fatigue, migraines, mysterious illnesses. These are the scars of unseen battles. The oracle becomes the battlefield. Their salvation lies in sacred care, grounding, rest, movement, purification. Without this, their body becomes a graveyard of unspoken pain. With it, they embody the deepest wisdom, the truth that the body never lies. 5. The untamed intuitive, the borderless vision. This is the rarest and the most dangerous of them all. The untamed intuitive sees everything at once. Motives, shadows, timelines, emotions, archetypes. They don't need to analyze. They simply know. In their presence, lies disintegrate. Masks slip. The narcissist panics, for no deception holds under this gaze. The untamed intuitive walks between worlds. Logic and mysticism, psyche and soul. Their awareness is total. Their vision borderless. They can dismantle manipulation with a single sentence, often without understanding how they knew. But omniscience is a heavy crown. When you see all, you risk losing anchor. Reality blurs. The boundaries between self and world dissolve. Overwhelm becomes constant. Sleep brings visions. Waking brings noise. Without grounding, this gift can lead to disconnection, madness, or self-destruction. The untamed must learn what Jung called integration, balancing light and shadow, intuition and embodiment. Only then does their vision become power rather than torment. These 5 empaths are not saints. They are warriors of perception, forged by pain, refined by truth. Narcissists cannot control them because they see. Yet to wield this vision is to bear solitude. You may recognize yourself in one, or several. That recognition is both blessing and burden. Because once you see your archetype, the path becomes clear. You must master your gift, or it will master you. In the next part, you'll discover how to wield these powers consciously, so that your empathy becomes your liberation, not your leash. The war is not over. It's only becoming visible. Narcissists survive through collusion, silent, unconscious agreements that keep the illusion alive. Their control isn't built only on charm or cruelty, but on blindness, on people refusing to look too closely, question too deeply, or see what hides beneath the mask. Most of the world complies. They take their roles in the script, the admirer, the enabler, the rescuer, the victim. But these 5 empaths, they refuse the script. They see, they pierce the veil, and in doing so, they shatter the unspoken contract that sustains the narcissist's power. Jung once said, "When one sees clearly what others cannot, one becomes a mirror society cannot bear." These empaths are that mirror, reflective, unflinching, luminous with truth. They reveal not only the narcissist's deception, but the collective hunger for illusion. They expose the lie, and the need for the lie. To a narcissist, this is unbearable. Their identity is a fragile mask, glued together by denial and projection. In the presence of someone who refuses to play along, the mask cracks. And so, the narcissist attacks. First with charm, seduction, promises, intoxicating praise. If that fails, they turn to confusion, gaslighting, guilt, subtle sabotage. And when that falters, they move to isolation. They whisper lies, twist perception, paint the empath as unstable, arrogant, cruel. Because if the empath cannot be controlled, they must be discredited. If the truth cannot be silenced, it must be drowned out. This is why in families, workplaces, even spiritual circles, the awakened empath so often becomes the scapegoat. Not because they are wrong, but because they see too much. Here lies the paradox. The clearer the empath's sight, the greater the danger they face. They are the lantern in a room of sleepers. Instead of gratitude, they receive hostility. Because truth dismantles comfort. It burns illusions. It demands awakening. But the gravest danger is not the narcissist's assault. It's the empath's own unmastered gift. Each archetype holds a weapon forged in wound, and without integration, that weapon turns inward. The shadow mirror becomes cynical, trapped in endless confrontation. The pattern seer becomes paranoid, unable to rest. The emotional absorber drowns in sorrow, not their own. The somatic oracle breaks beneath the weight of unspoken storms. The untamed intuitive spirals into overwhelm, untethered from reality. Integration is the key. What Jung called individuation, the alchemy of light and shadow. To wield the gift without being devoured by it. To stand in truth without turning to stone. For the empath's role is not to destroy the narcissist. It is to dissolve illusion, to bring clarity where deception thrives. The narcissist's deepest fear is not the empath's strength, but their sight. Because when manipulation is seen, it fails. This is why narcissists fear these empaths, because they cannot be hypnotized, because they see through projection, because they name the truth others deny, because they hold the mirror no mask can survive. But with great sight comes sacred responsibility. The awakened empath must rise beyond bitterness, beyond endless battle. They are not here to fight in darkness. They are here to bring light, to transform perception into liberation, to reveal shadow with compassion, not contempt. But with great sight comes sacred responsibility. The awakened empath must rise beyond bitterness, beyond endless battle. They are not here to fight in darkness. They are here to bring light, to transform perception into liberation, to reveal shadow with compassion, not contempt. For when the empath integrates their power, they become untouchable, grounded, sovereign, free. The narcissist's control depends on illusion. The empath's freedom depends on integration. And when that balance is forged, the shadow war ends, not in destruction, but in awakening. In the next part, you'll see how to shape that balance, how to turn raw sensitivity into conscious strength and claim the sovereignty no manipulator can touch. To survive as an empath is not enough. To thrive is to individuate. Carl Jung taught that individuation is the art of becoming whole, uniting conscious with unconscious, light with shadow, soul with self. For the empath, this is not a luxury. It is the line between awakening and collapse. You cannot remain porous, absorbing the wounds of a world that does not care if you drown. You cannot mistake the pain of others for the purpose of your life. Jung's path is the transmutation of sensitivity into sovereignty, the shift from reactive empathy to conscious mastery. There are 3 initiations on this path, each a key that turns the lock of freedom. 1. Discrimination of contents. The first step is ruthless discernment, knowing what belongs to you and what does not. Jung warned that unconscious identification leads to possession. When you carry every emotion you touch, sorrow, rage, shame, you risk becoming the host for shadows not your own. The narcissist's despair becomes your grief. Their insecurity becomes your anxiety. Discrimination is not cruelty. It is hygiene of the psyche. It means pausing, asking, is this mine or theirs? It means separating your authentic voice from the echoes of others. Solitude, journaling, meditation. These are not indulgences. They are shields. And once you know what is yours, projections lose their grip. The narcissist's arrows cannot pierce. You remain a mirror, but one with clean glass, reflecting without absorbing. Second shadow, integration. The second step is the most dangerous, turning to face your own darkness. Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." Too many empaths confuse goodness with purity, believing they must always forgive, always soften. But denial of your shadow leaves you vulnerable to others. If you cannot own your anger, you will be ruled by someone who wields theirs. If you disown your capacity to deceive, you will attract deceivers. Integration is not indulgence. It is ownership. You name your envy, rage, pride, and fear. You hold them without shame. And in doing so, you stop casting them onto others. No more mirrors to attract predators, because you have claimed the lost pieces of yourself. Wholeness cannot be manipulated. 3. Conscious participation. The final step is strategic empathy, not compulsion, but choice. Most empaths give instinctively, endlessly. They absorb wounds, soothe others, bleed themselves dry. This is not compassion. It is servitude. It feeds the narcissist and starves the self. Conscious participation means deciding where to direct your empathy, choosing when to open and when to withdraw. Compassion becomes a blade, not a leash. You stop rescuing those who choose illusion and instead serve truth. From this place, your gift is no longer a drain. It is a force. History offers two mirrors. Nietzsche, a visionary who saw too much without grounding, burned alive in his own insight, his brilliance shattering into madness. Eckhart, the mystic, saw just as deeply, yet through integration dissolved the self that could suffer. He transcended. These are the two fates awaiting the unmastered empath. To be consumed by the mirror's clarity, or to become the pioneer who turns vision into wisdom. You are not here to be a martyr. You are here to evolve, to feel fully, yet stand firmly, to see darkness without being swallowed by it. Individuation is not retreat. It is initiation. Each act of discernment clears the glass. Each step into shadow strengthens the spine. Each choice of conscious empathy transforms pain into purpose. Walk this path, and your gift becomes grace. Narcissists cannot prey on you. They cannot script you. You become the bridge Jung envisioned, the rare one who holds shadow and light in balance, pointing humanity toward its next evolution. There is a thread, a current of manipulation running through every family, every system, every culture. It whispers conformity, breeds guilt, rewards blindness. It trains you to doubt what you know, to silence what you feel, to obey what harms you. Carl Jung called it the collective shadow, humanity's dark inheritance. I call it the dark thread we've all been tied to. It is the unseen puppeteer behind our compromises, the silent architect of our confusion. Narcissists merely tug at it. The thread itself binds us all. Here's the truth most never hear. You cannot cut what you will not see. The dark thread thrives in unconsciousness, in the spaces where you whisper, "That's just how things are." But once you see it, you awaken. You trace its path through your family, your work, your beliefs, and you realize how deeply control has woven itself into your story. That's the threshold of freedom. This is why I wrote The Dark Thread We've All Been Tied To. Inside, I reveal the hidden patterns of power, the subtle strings shaping your choices, your emotions, even your identity. The manipulations too ancient and normalized to notice. You'll learn how they operate, how they disguise themselves as love, duty, and virtue, and how to break them once and for all. I'll guide you through the methods Jung hinted at but never completed. Psychic disentanglement, boundary alchemy, shadow reclamation. You'll learn to see the thread in others and, most crucially, within yourself. Because liberation doesn't come from fighting the narcissist. It comes from dissolving the web that let them in. When you understand the thread, You stop being the puppet. You become the seer, the one who moves freely while others still dance to invisible strings. And here is the promise. Once you see the thread, you can never unsee it. Once you break it, no narcissist, no manipulator, no ideology or hidden influence will ever own you again. You will enter rooms with eyes unclouded, emotions grounded, power intact. You will speak truth without apology and love without surrender. You will no longer carry the world's wounds as your burden. You'll carry them as your wisdom. This is your initiation, the crossing from unconscious empathy to conscious mastery. The world doesn't need more empaths crushed beneath the weight of what they see. It needs integrated visionaries, souls who wield perception like a sword of light, cutting through illusion with precision and grace. So here is your invitation. Click the link below to get your copy of The Dark Thread We've All Been Tied To. Inside, you'll uncover the architecture of hidden influence, the tools to shield your psyche without closing your heart, the roadmap to transform sensitivity into sovereignty. Because you are not here to be a mirror that shatters. You are here to be a pioneer, guiding humanity out of shadow and into awareness. See the thread, name it, break it, and walk free, untethered, luminous, whole.